Hi, everybody. Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. Happy Friday. Hope you've got a nice Friday night planned. All ready for Saturday. Get to bed early. It's gonna be a strange one tomorrow. I think it's gonna be a strange one. Anyway, over half of you watching now. Half of you. So if it's not you, it's the person next to you watching. Aren't subscribed. So if you could subscribe, it really, really helps us out. And why they give it a cheeky like, it helps the algorithm. But also giving a comment, whether you agree or disagree, all that stuff is great. You know, we love it. We love just the compliments just as much as the slating us off and the negative comments. Because actually, either or, you've taken the time to voice your opinion, and that's what we're here about. We're here as a platform for us to agree and disagree, but we're all West Ham fans. Or maybe become a channel member. Down there's a little chat join button, and you can help the channel that way. As we do on the Fridays, we present the press conference, David Moyes' press conference. But what's new today and going forward from today is we've just started a partnership with Football London. And John T. Coleman, who's the West Ham correspondent for Football London, he'll be giving us his brief synopsis of the press conference every Friday or after every press conference in the car park in Rush Green today, and I think that's what you're probably going to get. Literally, instant impact, instant reactions to the press conference. And for those of you who don't know, the press conference is in two parts. You've got what is the public, which is on the West Ham website, which will be on Football London website and various BBC, things like that. And then you've got the Embargoed section, which won't be released until about 10:30 tonight. So John T alludes to that a little bit in his little video. Let's crack on. Let's listen to John T first. As I said, he's literally just sent the video from outside in his car outside Rush Green, and then we'll dissect it and go into what was said in the press conference. Over to you, Mr. Coleman.
Good afternoon, everyone. John T. Coleman here from Football London. It's currently sat in the car park at Rush Green following today's press conference. Of course, David Moyes looking ahead to Saturday's massive match against Everton, where 18th play 19th, and you know, a few people, including myself privately at least, have been dubbing it El Sacico. You know, both Moyes and Frank Lampard under serious pressure at the minute, and you feel like a win is so important for both managers, especially West Ham. So, of course, there's a lot of talk about that. Firstly, I'll start off on Danny Ings. Obviously, his £12 million move from Aston Villa was announced at 12:30, so just over an hour before the press conference actually started here today. Obviously, a lot of the chat was around Ings, David Moyes said, but as far as signing a striker goes, Danny Ings is as good as it can get. You know, very complimentary from Moyes, and I get what he's saying. He said they looked at a few players, have been linked with a few players, but they've got someone proven at the Premier League level, very experienced. You know, if you look at a lot of the signings that they made in the summer, a lot of them are new to the Premier League and still getting used to it. But with Danny Ings, you don't have to worry about that. You know, I think this is his 5th Premier League club, 4th or 5th at least anyway. So, you know, and he's had a few good spells in that time. Did okay at Aston Villa, had a really good record at Southampton, and did well at Burnley as well. So, you know, he's very experienced at this level, and I think that's a huge thing for West Ham. You know, Gianluca Scamacca's shown promise at times, but you know, he's had spells in and out. He's had spells of not scoring. Mikel Antonio and other attacking players just haven't been at their best at all this season. So they needed a proven goal scorer to get out of this situation. He said himself, Moyes, that he was going sort of off piste with that signing based on the position they're in, and you know, you get it. You know, he was trying to sort of make West Ham all these sort of European and world superstars that he brought in the summer. You know, you can see the direction they're going in, but because of where they are in the league at first, the priority has to be just steering clear of relegation. So Danny Ings is a smart signing, I think, and I think David Moyes is pretty happy to have got him in so quickly as well, and for a good fee. There's also plenty of talk about Everton. Of course, it's his former side, and we've got a lot of off-pitch issues at the minute in terms of fan unrest. David Moyes can only speak highly about his time there at the club. So yeah, he said that you know, he said that he didn't feel Everton weren't a divided club, and he felt that West Ham were perhaps more united than they've ever been right now. Said that Everton didn't feel divided when he was there, but it looks like that is the case now with Everton. So again, for them, it could get, you kind of think whoever goes behind tomorrow, it's going to quickly turn with their fans. So it's a massive game from that point of view. Speaking on strikers and Danny Ings, there's obviously been the rumours the past few days that Gianluca Scamacca is injured. That is the case. David Moyes confirmed it's a knee injury. A bit more to come on that in the embargo section later on, Station Football London. But yeah, it's a knee injury. So yeah, he's not going to play Everton, or is out for a little period anyway. So yeah, they're kind of the sort of main talking points. He did actually also speak. He was asked about Benrahma. Moyes actually said that Benrahma's probably been the best of the attacking players this season. Quite complimentary, and considering the impact Benrahma's had at times when he started, or especially actually when coming on as a sub. You can hardly blame Moyes for that. Benrahma, I think, is the second top scorer in all competitions with 6. Joint top scorer in the league with 3. And there's been a few games where he's had a big impact, but as I say, especially off the bench. There's a game against Brentford in the Cup, at Villa in the league. Trying to think, there's 1 or 2 others at Southampton in the league as well. He made a big difference. So, you can see why at times David Moyes has opted to use him from a bench, but considering his creativity in sort of numbers and things like that, is also the fair argument why he hasn't perhaps started more this season. So could that be a hint he'll return to the starting lineup tomorrow? We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, that's kind of a quick roundup of what was said in the live section of the press conference. Anyway, Station Football London, there'll be more to come from Embargo, which of course comes out at 10:30. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and yeah, massive game tomorrow. Fingers crossed West Ham can get back to winning ways.
Lovely stuff. Thank you, John T. And as I said, John T going forward as part of Football London will be providing us with that sort of insight straight after each press conference, so we can bring that to you. Interesting points there. I'm looking forward to the embargo section tonight. By the sounds of it, it did allude to maybe something around the Scamacca thing, or not looking forward to it, but finding out a bit more about maybe his injury. Actually, during that time, we'll have Irish Tommy. Please join us for Irish Tommy and his show, which will be 10 o'clock UK time, and the embargo section will be at 10:30. So as always, what we're going to do is we'll go through the press conference and dissect it a little bit. Let's start with Danny. That was the talk of the town. As I said, it was officially announced at 12:30, although he was training, and actually he did the little video and he called it "Say Good Morning," and he was at the club, he was at the Rush Green this morning, obviously doing the photos, but also doing some training as well. So maybe he could start, maybe, but then I don't know. Me and Anton had a mass debate about this yesterday when we were putting together the Predicted 11 show, which we'll be putting out tomorrow lunchtime in preparation for the Everton game. Now, I asked about Danny Ings. Obviously, it was officially announced an hour before the press conference. He says he's what we need. We need someone who knows the league. We've had a good look at a few players to strengthen, but I wanted to bring someone in who wasn't a risk in terms of knowing the league. Danny is as good as it gets. Paperwork was done in time, and we need to wait for confirmation on the registration. Now, according to the West Ham website, he is all signed up and ready to roll for the Everton game. That was what the official website said. So, that's what we'll go with. But it's interesting he brings up the point about the league, because we know Gianluca's taken time to adjust to the Premier League. And we'll talk about Gianluca in a second. Obviously, Paqueta has taken time to adjust to the league. But obviously, Ings comes in ready to roll, innit? I mean, he's scored. I think he's got 150 something goal contributions in 350 games. That's scoring and assists. He scored wherever he's gone. Everton's a team he loves scoring against, and so yeah, and we need it, We'll talk about it in a bit, why we need it, obviously, given our precarious position. Asked about striking situation as a whole. He goes, in terms of Danny, he adds what we need. Gianluca has a bit of a knee injury, which will keep him out for a short time. So at the moment, I only have Mickey and Danny as out-and-out forwards. Jarrod, who can fill in as well. Hopefully he will settle in well, as we need that competition. And obviously after tomorrow's game, he will not be available for I think he's cup tied, so he won't play in the derby game. So it'll be Mikel Antonio potentially and Jarrod Bowen. By the sounds of it, it's a little bit more to the Gianluca Scamacca injury. The fact that when John alluded to it, he's have to wait to the Embargoed section some more about that. So it'll be interesting to see what's said about the severity of the injury. But some people say it could be several weeks. Some people say it could be a month. So I suppose that's probably the same thing, really. I suppose is several means more than say a couple or a few in it. So you imagine I don't know. It's all semantics. So we'll see what happens. But I've got a feeling there'll be another striker coming into the club before the transfer window closes. So obviously, massive game tomorrow. Moyes speaking about the Everton game. He said that basically it's the game tomorrow means a lot. Individually and as a team, we have to focus on trying to get the 3 points. There's a long way to go. When I came here, I was here for only 3 or 4 games. We had supporters running on the pitch. Terrible team. That means supporters. That needs supporters, players, directors to be one. I don't see a divided club. And as John T alluded to, he did say that he thought that Everton was a very divided club at the moment, maybe because of the outpouring of anger on the street, so to speak, around Goodison Park after the Southampton game. And he says that's not the case with West Ham. I think tomorrow's going to be a very strange atmosphere, and I totally agree with what John T says, that the team that concedes is going to be up against it with their relative supporters. I think also we've got the David Gold tribute as well beforehand. So again, it's going to be a strange atmosphere. Plus, everyone's sort of excited about the Danny Ings signing. Now, I appreciate it's not the Red Bull model, but I think needs must. And as I said, we're in a precarious position. I showed the stats the other day. Let me bring them up again just to show you. Where is it? Over the last 10 years, obviously we're halfway stages now. Our last 10 years, these are the teams that were in the bottom 3, and those are the teams that went down. So it's a higher proportion that you're going to go down if you're in the bottom 3 come the halfway stage. Looking at the last 10 years, if you're 18th, you're 60%. You got a 60% chance of going down. 19th 70, 20th 70, average is 2/3. So if we say you got you're more likely to go down than you are to go up, stay up rather. What's quite ironic is actually looking at that, one of the teams which has actually got out of that precarious situation, was West Ham in 2013-14. And so we need goals. We've only got 19 games to go. We've got to win 8 games, 8, 16, 24 plus 15 is 39 points. You might get away with 7, but you need at least 7 wins, if not 8 wins. So we need goals. And looking at the conceded goals, we haven't got the worst defence. Our defence is reasonably good. I think we're in the top 4 or 5. I think for goals conceded, but it's the other end. And that's the trouble. And so someone like Danny Ings could make a massive, massive difference. Asked about, in general, in terms of that Everton game. Did I do this bit? I can't remember if I did that bit. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I did that bit. No, I didn't do this bit. Let's do that bit. It's a huge game for both, but one we look forward to. Hopefully we can come up on top, and we need it. And also that leads itself into the discussion about pressure and expectations. In terms of expectations, as well, we've got 60,000 at the stadium. Not many clubs in the world can do that. I generally think over the last few years we've had a great time here, and I say thanks here for the support and for the board. They brought me in twice before to rescue the club and get them up. Then we've had 2 seasons where we finished 6th and 7th, and in Europe we've been to most of the cities across Europe. And yes, we have, David, we have indeed, but unfortunately football is a short business, isn't it? And it's based on the current season. We've spoken about money in the bank and stuff like that he's got, but now it's about we need to get out of this precarious position. He says, in terms of turning it around, any manager's job is to raise expectations and get the team going in the right direction. I think in the last few years, we've been pretty good for West Ham. And at times, it cannot go as well. And that's how it is. I had to go off-piste a little because we brought in players and wanted it to happen. We tried to break it in the summer to move on to another level. But we've had to do things slightly differently due to the position we're in at the moment. And that's sort of in terms of the Ings transfer. I think it's not, as I said, it's not the Red Bull model, but it's a guy who's experienced, who can go in. 12 million quid. It's not, to be honest, it's not a gamble. You can spend 12 million quid on a 24-year-old striker from France. It will take 6 weeks to adjust to the game and adjust to the Premier League. Ings is a guy who comes in now. I agree. I think Toby, one of our mods, said in the chat a couple of days ago, if we'd signed Ings in the summer, I think a lot of people go, it's a good signing, but yeah. But he's a perfect January signing. He's a coming. He'll be a big lift. He's a good presence in the dressing room by all accounts as well. And I think he'll really, for the likes of Bowen, Benrahma, who we'll talk about at the end, they've got someone different rather than a target man, so to speak. They can play it in behind. And as Anton said in the lunchtime show, if you're 1-on-1 and you've got Antonio or Danny Ings, who do you want? 99% of you will say Danny Ings, because he knows where the back of the net is, and he's by trade a striker. Asked about pressure. Obviously, the club have released a lot of training videos, and everyone's smiling and happy and things like that. Is that the case? And how's it affecting the players in terms of the position we're in and stuff? He goes, it's a bit of both in feeling, but it's important to understand what pressure means. Tomorrow's game means a lot, and from that viewpoint, we need to focus on 3 points. We're halfway through the season, and there's a long way to go, but we have to start picking up the results. Team morale is fine. We just need to score more goals, and that's the obvious thing. We've brought in Danny Ings, and we're working hard to get those better results. And I think there'll be another signing. I think there'll be another signing, particularly also maybe with this Scamacca injury. We at Hammers Headlines, we spoke about Nicola Zaniolo from Roma. The Moffi deal is still live. The Balde deal is still live, apparently. So I think there definitely will be at least one more in for the striking positions, at least, and a centre-back if Craig Dawson, if that move is confirmed. We've accepted a bid, but apparently, according to Alex Crook in TalkSport, there's been a bit of a delay on that from the West Ham side. So maybe a bit of sportsmanship. So he can't play for the Wolves game. Wolves can't select him, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. Or maybe we're waiting on the person coming in to replace him, potentially. We spoke about Tossin from Fulham, who's someone we're looking at, potentially. X said we've been contacted with people all over the world with their centre-backs as a replacement for Craig Dawson. So that might be it. As I said at the end, and John T alluded to it, someone asked a question about Benrahma, which is quite interesting. And this is what Moyes said about Benrahma. He's probably been the best of our attacking players, but we've not had many at this time. Creating and making and scoring chances have been a problem for us. That's why we bought in Danny. And that's what's really interesting, because, he said there that Benrahma, and again, it's a little bit like a shit sandwich, a good thing and a bad thing. Benrahma's been our best attacking player, but we haven't had many to compare him to, basically. Does that mean Benrahma starts tomorrow? We don't know. Myself and Anton had a mass debate about this on for the Starting 11 show, which will be out tomorrow. And also we gave the West Ham Network community the option to pick their 11. I believe Benrahma was picked in that as well. It's a player that's a thorny issue, Benrahma, in terms of the fans love him, and the manager and Moyes doesn't trust him as much. And I think maybe Ings coming in could make a massive difference to Benrahma. It gives him a different option. Someone who's gonna, and also he's more of a conventional striker. He's not necessarily going to pull to the sides, the wings like an Antonio would. I would be really excited to see him and Scamacca play as a two as well. That gives you that option. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Whatever happens, it's going to be a weird atmosphere. As I said, make sure you check out Irish Tommy tonight, the Late Late Show. It'll be at 10 o'clock tonight. And don't forget to check out Football London, Football London website, or the John T's Twitter, at Jonty Coleman, where you have the latest from the embargo section when it is released. And that's it, my friends. Hopefully, as I said, I'll be up early tomorrow, be able to get to the ground in time to do a match day morning. If you're new around here, which over half of you are and don't subscribe, please do. Thank you. It helps us out a lot as a channel. And give it a little cheeky comment and a little subscribe and a little thumbs up, all that good stuff. Or maybe become a channel member as well and get entered into our monthly draws. We're doing the January draw will be on Monday, because I don't have time to do it in today's show because of the Danny Ings thing. So we'll do it on Monday, where you get the opportunity to win some signed West Ham memorabilia. And that's it, my friends. So take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. Again, thank you to our friends at Football London as per usual. And let us know if you enjoyed Jonty's videos as well, because it's something we should be doing going forward all the time when we have press conferences. But anyway, take care. Keep the faith. Come on, you Irons. Hopefully when I speak to you next after tomorrow, hopefully when I speak to you on Monday, I'll be happy because we won a game. Bye-bye.
Thank you.